too.
Oh my great. Oh my gosh, I didn't know my audio was on.
Your
Oh
audio's
my.
on. All right, let's do this. Okay, sorry about the delays. It's 11:12. Let's get right into it. I am so outrageously excited about today. We have our communications department, humanities and communications.
Who
I
you
am a
talking to?
big, I am personally a big fan of the arts. I was in show choir back in high school. My son was in band. My other son was in band. My mom was the choir director for church, and so it's just got a really big place in my heart. We are a liberal arts institution. And what that means is we teach a wide range of different academic topics. And some of the most important topics that we cover have to do with the arts and have to do with humanities, which also includes writing, religion, and other topics that help us to build our brain and understand our culture. So I couldn't be more excited about today. A couple of housekeeping things. So there's a $5 Cash App in it for the first student who can tell me who were the 3 speakers that we've had so far. You can either unmute yourself or put it in the chat. I'll send you a $5 Cash App on the spot if you can tell me the 3 speakers we've had so far. Or we've had more than 3, but 3 speakers we had so far. Did I stump the audience? Is it in the chat? Anybody gonna take me up on that?
Okay. I will, Jalen.
Do it, Jalen. Go ahead. Give me one. Who? One of our speakers was who?
One of them was.
Or you can say their division or something that you remember about them.
One of them was a football coach.
Okay. Anybody know his name? Help her out.
And the man from the financial aid.
Ooh, financial aid. I don't know what. Okay. All right. I think
he was just recently. I don't think he was from financial aid.
No, he wasn't.
I think it's Ruffin.
Coach Ruffin was one. Okay, Brady, good job.
My boy Michael Johnson.
Michael, your boy Michael Johnson. Who was that?
Anthony.
Somebody was like, "Can we turn?" I'll find out about the Alabama Student State Grant. So we got Michael Johnson. We got the football coach. Give me one more speaker. Jalen, give me one more speaker.
It was for the man for education.
Good job, education. Okay, so Anthony, Jalen, and Brady, if you guys will put your you can send it to me in the chat. If you put your Cash App in the chat, I'll send you $5. So thank you for that. So we definitely had Coach Ruffin, and we had our Director of Admissions, Michael Johnson, who talked about social justice. And then we did have the education department to talk about everything from what not to wear to sticking to your degree plan to staying focused during college. So I've loved all of our divisions for doing this. And so today we're going to have Dr. Bala Baptiste. He is a professor, and a professor in rank, you guys. The ranks are instructor, then there's assistant professor, then there's associate professor, and then there's professor. It's the highest rank at any college. I don't care if it's Miles or Harvard or Alabama A&M. If you're a professor rank, it means that you've had a certain level of scholarship and work and service to the college that you are able to have that rank of professor. He's also chair of humanities and communications. Joining him is a fabulous Miss Jaleesa Tannehill, who some of you may have as an instructor and some of you will have as an instructor. If you're a communications major, go ahead and drop in the chat your name and your communications major. Everybody's dropping their Cash Apps though. But everybody's like, wait a minute, well, $5 going around. Okay, go ahead and if you're a communications major, put your name in the chat and that you're a communications major or humanities major, put that you're interested in it. Okay, without further ado, I am going to turn it over to Dr. Baptiste and Jaleesa Tannehill. Yoruba, I have the presentation.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
It's been emailed to you.
Okay, let's see. So y'all probably are gonna need to always send me the presentation too, because it seems like this keeps happening. She does a run through every day, and right when we get started, is when it acts up, right? Right when we get everybody on the call. But that's okay. We're family, and we grant each other grace and understanding. So I'm entering all of the people that are coming in. We're approaching 100 participants. Excited about that. Wouldn't mind a little bit more. Dr. Baptiste, are you first?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay, tell me when you're ready for me to launch your slides.
I'm ready, please.
Okay. One second.
While we wait, I will say first, good morning, scholars. Hope you guys are having a good time and enjoying your college life. I want to thank Dr. Agee for so easily and conveniently explaining and setting up these uh, opportunities for us to learn about ourselves, to learn about college, to learn about the future. At Miles College, we're not training you to be students. We're training you to be professionals. Your behavior determines much of your success or failure at school, in the community, among your family and friends, and in life. For example, your behavior can land you a job that pays $75,000 a year, $80,000 or more. But guess what? Your behavior can also land you in jail or in the cemetery. So we want you to get on track for that $75,000 a year job. And we want to look at behavior that's expected of you in college. And we're going to compare that to high school. Okay. The culture of higher education. Now, in high school, you don't have a lot of choices. Sometimes most of your choices are made by your parents or your grandparents or your teachers or someone else. Some external individual makes your choices. But in college, it's quite different. You make your choices, you make your decision, you determine what's right and what's wrong. The instructor guides you in the right direction, but it is ultimately your decision on how your experiences turn out. Okay. In high school, it is assumed that you are immature, but the opposite is the case in college. We assume that you're mature. In high school, teachers offer students reminders when your assignment is due, when you go to lunch, and so forth. But in college, no. Instructors, they expect you to do things without being reminded. In high school, education is paid for you. People pay taxes, they pay property taxes. The federal government gives the state some money to appropriate to college, to high schools and elementary, K through 12. You don't have to worry about any expenses, but in college, you have to pay the cost of textbooks. Now at Miles, we're fortunate, we use ebooks, so you don't have to buy hard copy textbooks. Um, you pay for your education through financial aid, through student loans outside of your pocket, you pay out of pocket. So what we want to impress upon you is don't waste your money, don't waste your parents' money. Work hard, do what you're supposed to do. In high school, teachers manage your time. You manage your time in college. Academic standards in high school are not that rigorous sometimes. In college, though, the standard is high. I called you guys scholars, and scholars work hard, and scholars set standards for themselves, and scholars strive to reach those standards. So you need to figure out how best to meet the challenges that you're going to be confronted with. In high school, your family provides you with advice, your friends, your pastor, your teachers, and so forth. But in college, you won't be handed things. You are going to be responsible for solving your own problems, and we are preparing you to handle that. Okay, in high school, let's go forward in the presentation. Okay, now we have to deal with, we dealt with the differences between the experiences in college and experiences in high school. Let's deal with disruptive behavior at the college level. We must not participate or promote disruptive behavior. That is things that you do that interfere with teaching. Such disruptive behavior prohibits the faculty or interferes with the faculty members' ability to conduct instruction. It interferes with students' abilities to learn. And any behavior not otherwise specified that is not acceptable and detrimental to the college community is unacceptable. Here's a rule that should be common. It should be easily understood. It should be accepted. It should be known, but sometimes we just don't do it. We get distracted. So no cell phones in the class or when you're online, unless it's allowed by the instructor. And we should pay attention during virtual instruction. Make certain that we are not involved in any other type of activity or discussion. Don't turn off your camera and be involved in talking on the phone or chatting with somebody in the room, or just be responsible. Okay.
Dr. Baptiste, can I chime in right here on that part?
Yes, please.
I watch TikTok, and there's a lot of TikToks that go around showing students playing pranks on their teachers and keeping their screens off and everything. So I really want you to put yourself in my instructor's shoes. We didn't ask for COVID. You didn't ask for COVID. We're making the best of it. So for us to give you the best instruction possible, it really is nice for you to have your screens on, and that you're not laying down, that you're not, if you're driving, you have to be driving fine. But if you could be in a stationary place at your desk, at your table, or however you learn, that's great. Also for me, this is a personal pet peeve for me. If somebody comes to me, I don't care what I'm talking about, and they sit down without a piece of paper, without a thing to take notes, either they're telling me that they have what do you call it, photographic memory, or they're telling me there's nothing I'm saying or about to say that's worth taking notes on. So come to class. I take notes while I'm talking to y'all. I'm always taking notes. So do that. Some of the worst things that I've heard when people weren't on mute, I've heard somebody get spanked, like a smaller brother or sister get spanked. I've heard somebody talk about some alcohol that was under their seat. No joke. I've heard that. I've heard people talk about other people that are on the video. And so just be careful with that and, mute yourself. But when your teacher asks you a question, unmute yourself, take that bold chance and talk to them. I promise you, they're going to be very, very grateful. They're not going to send you $5 cash app like Dr. Ag might, but they're going to be very grateful that you're participating with them. Just know this is disruptive to you and it was disruptive to us, and we're really all in this together. So I can't underline it enough that if you're truly coming to class, come in, put yourself on video so the teacher will know that they have an audience that's there with them. Thanks, Dr. Baptiste.
Dr. Baptiste, you're muted.
We lost you.
In terms of punctuality, forgive me, we're giving you about a 10-minute grace period to be late. But after 10 minutes, consider yourself as being absent. And we do have an attendance requirement that says that you need to show up in order to participate. If you don't participate, if you don't show up, you can't participate. And I'm talking about showing up online or showing up in class, online, virtual. The policy applies equally. Now, some teachers might have a little different policy, but about 10 minutes late, that's too late. Okay.
Is okay, my cue to go? Okay. Okay, you gotta give me my prompts, okay?
Don't walk out the class. It's not only rude, but it interferes with instruction and with learning. So students who walk out of class or leave, collaborate ultra early, you're really denying yourself opportunities. It is about instruction and learning, and you don't gain instruction and you don't learn if you do that. So if you leave on-ground or virtual classrooms more than once, sometimes you have to go to the restroom, and sometimes there's a really, really, really important call that you have to take. Excuse yourself, but more than once, consider yourself as being excused for the rest of the period. Okay. Respect. Powerful. We want to respect each other, but just as importantly, and maybe even more importantly, respect yourself. Respect means that you treat people the way you want to be treated. Respect means showing consideration, courtesy, and care for someone or something. Changing up a little bit. Okay, in terms of conduct, look at the guy in the center, upper center, being responsible, taking care of business, doing what he needs to do, putting the work in. That's what we want. Look at the people below him, dancing, just cutting up, inappropriate conduct. To the left of them, two girls are arguing. Above them, this guy's making fun behind the teacher's back. He's being a wise guy. Above him, we have some students on their iPads, not paying attention. Unacceptable. Look at the cartoon to the right of the screen. A D+, on demand recount. Learn how to talk to folk. learn to talk to people like you want to be talked to. Even if you're mad, even if you're angry, you need to, um, what's come to mind is colloquially, take a chill pill. What you do is if you earn a grade that you think is too low, that you did better, you talk to the faculty member. You could very well appropriately set an appointment during office hours or during a Zoom meeting and talk to the person, talk to the faculty member and say, I don't make D's ordinarily, and I don't think this is a D. Please explain to me why I earned a D. Why is this a D paper? Then you say, well, what can I do to improve my grade? Can I retake it, or, are there any other options? But the main point is be cool, be professional, be respectful. Okay. Sleeping in class, obviously, or sleeping while you're online. So if you sleep in class, you'll be asked to leave. Pretty simple. So as Dr. Agee said, you activate your video camera during virtual sessions. Be prepared for instruction. Go to your on ground into your virtual classes prepared. Have the tools that you need, an ink pen to take notes with, a notepad to write your notes on. Recording a lecture, recording a class session, that depends on the faculty. But I would ask my faculty member, the instructor, is it okay for me to record this, to voice record this session? But so go to on ground and virtual classes prepared. Read the ebook chapters. Review your notes from the previous class session. And
Dr. Baptiste, can I chime in here?
sure.
So the point that Dr. Baptiste is making, you guys, you're paying for these textbooks. It costs money. And so it's almost like you were paying for tickets to go to a concert, and you don't listen to the band. So these books are part of your educational experience. The professors, you don't expect them to impart every bit of knowledge that you need to know around these topics, whether it's psychology or communications or science. That's what the textbooks are for. And actually, it's the foundation for an academic experience. We're getting out of the habit of reading. I'm not just talking about, the students. I'm talking about us, right? We get our news online. We don't really do newspapers anymore. We read an ebook probably before we buy an actual book, which is fine. That's where it is right now. But please read the ebook chapters and read them before the class that the class that it corresponds to, because it's awesome when you do that and your teacher does, like I did earlier today, and ask you, what is your reflection on that book chapter? And even if it's the smallest of thing that you have to say about it, your teacher's going to be pleased that you at least reviewed it. So, participate in your education. Go ahead, read the book. That's it, Dr. Baptiste.
Hey, thank you. Very good. Absolutely fine. Okay, mainly plagiarism is taken by somebody else's work and presented as your own. Do not do that. Cite your work. Academic dishonesty, basically cheating. Don't cheat, please. We're going to wrap this up. Let's get to the next slide, and I'm going to...
Let me say something really quick about plagiarism and academic
Sure.
dishonesty. We have a couple of policies around it. You can make a mistake, and you can, let's say you're quoting something that you got out of Ebony magazine. Well, Ebony, that's not that relevant. Something you got from AL.com. It is so easy now for us as professors to find that exact same content. So there are actual rules by which something is considered plagiarism. You may not even be intentionally committing an act of plagiarism or academic dishonesty, but make sure that when you're quoting something, you're quoting the original author, you're using appropriate quotations when you're doing it. If something's more than a paragraph long, either you're saying this whole paragraph is what Shakespeare said, and now I'm going to evaluate what Shakespeare said, or you're going to break that paragraph up and restate it. You know, Shakespeare said this, it meant this. And so it should be some back and forth within your paragraphs, but we have some information we can share with you on how not to plagiarize. There are also things called Grammarly, you know this, Turnitin, other resources available to you where you can actually put your assignment in those platforms and you can see what I can see, which is how much of your work will look like it's plagiarized before you turn it in. We don't want you to get into that situation. Anything that's plagiarized, it's automatic F on that assignment. And academic honesty, dishonesty with regards to plagiarism can have you expelled from the school, depending on the severity of the charge. So you definitely don't want to get into that world. It's easy to cut and paste. Believe me, I know, but we want to take those safeguards against it. Okay.
Okay, I am going to pause and say thank you for your attention. We have Ms. Jaleesa Tannehill waiting to tell you and show you how to brand yourself, how to make yourself sellable, and how to distinguish yourself from each other, from other folk, and how to use online social media to your benefit. And we're going to hold questions until after she's done. Ms. Tannehill.
Hey, everybody. Okay, oh no, there we go. Okay, I got it. Okay, so starting off, hello, I'm about to say welcome, but we already said welcome. So hello, my name is Jaleesa Tannehill. I am the major advisor for in the Humanities and Communications division. I'm over the business communications curriculum. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself and why this is really important to me, but also how I wish I would have known about it when I was in college. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It's like Zoom is in the way. Okay, there we go. Okay, so why this is so important. Personal branding, it is what it is. It's two things. Your personal self, who you actually are, and then the branding part is what you portray to the world, what you're selling to the world, okay? So when we talk about personal branding, we're talking about being able to merge the two in a very professional way. And guess where this starts? It starts when you're in college, because this is where you actually are starting to think about what you want to do for the rest of your life. We think it's when we're a kid. It's not, because those are all far-fetched dreams. You know, we can make them to realities, but once we start working it and we start learning more about ourselves, it's very important to understand how to make this work for you, especially when you are in a school like what we have, 1,400 students at Miles now?
Actually, 1,474. We beat our enrollment from last fall.
That's what's up. So think about how many students you're actually competing with. And then, you know, the way that you guys come in, you come in as co-parts. So I'm not saying you're competing against your peer, but there is a way that you have to stand out above them in certain instances, but also y'all can also bring each other up. So this is what we're going to talk about today. So my background, I've worked in a corporate American setting for close to 7, 8-ish years before I started teaching at Miles. And personal branding was the only thing I heard over and over and over. But what I had to realize is that it's a trendy word. It's very trendy, and it's very useful if you know how to use it. So in college, I was Miss Everything. I was very involved. I know a lot of you are trying to get there. Y'all are freshmen, some are upper class, and I talk to them all the time because they're running around campus doing X, Y, and Z, forgetting which class they're going to. So, you know, you're still trying to build, but are you really focusing what you're building on? What exactly is all this going to do for you for your personal brand. So when you graduate, you walk across that stage, how are you actually going to use this? Okay. So let's get started. Okay. So basically your personal brand tells your story. It highlights your abilities. It builds your authority as an expert. And we sometimes forget that, hold on, I just want to make sure, oops, where's my mouse? I'm trying to make sure there's just no students or anybody waiting. I can't see, there we go. Okay, I'm letting the student in. Okay, so for your personal brand, it tells your story, it tells what your abilities are, your strengths and your weaknesses, right? And your authority as an expert. Now, you're probably thinking like, I'm not an expert, I'm only a freshman, I haven't even started my major classes yet, right? But as you go along in your college career and you're taking your classes, you're building that skill set. So like Dr. Baptiste was telling us, you know, it's very important when you are paying attention in class, you're doing your best, you're showing up because you're building that authority. You can't say that you have experience in something if you didn't come to class, if you slept through class, if you weren't taking notes. You can't say you can't say you have that authority. So this is where all this comes into play when it comes down to your personal branding. The biggest part is once you get this figured out, you can actually say, I am an expert in this area because I have a running track record of X, Y, and Z. So the questions that you really got to ask yourself in this stage is, how do I want to be perceived by other people? How do I want people to perceive me just by either, Miss Townsley in. What is up with the mouse? I think I'm okay, I got it. I'm just gonna leave the mouse right there. How do you want people to perceive you? What do you want people to remember about you? And figure out, hone in really on your strengths so you can keep strengthening those and perfecting those as you go along. Now, when we say, what do we want people to perceive about us? You know, okay, we can be the most popular, funny person on campus, right? Okay, cool. But what else are they going to know about us? Like, does that really tell a whole story about us? Like, are we really digging deep to do, you know, what we're supposed to be doing? Are we living up to the Mylene way? You know, so what exactly does that look like? And these are just personal questions that you have to answer. Let me make sure my see it flashing. Okay. And how do you want people to remember you by? Like, we don't think about that. We only think about it for small moments, but think about it overall. Like, as you're building out the story, what exactly is that going to look like? Okay, next. So how do you do this? So I say this so much to, oops. I'm trying to move the box now. I say this so much to some of my younger mentees. I graduated from Jacksonville State. I'm in a sorority from Jacksonville State. So I stay connected. I'm in a sorority and fraternity at Jacksonville State. So I stay connected. And even here at Miles College, I always tell my students, because I teach a lot of upper level, junior, senior level classes, perfect your craft. Practice. Learn all you can learn now. Don't be afraid to ask us questions. Don't be afraid to put in the extra work. If you want to stay in the lab, let us know. You want to stay in the lab, work on your graphic design, work on your video editing, let us know. You want to borrow a camera, let us know, because this is the time to do it. You don't want to leave this incubator that you're in and go into the real world and not be able to do anything that you were supposed to learn, or not have taken the time to just make sure that you were putting out your very best work. So perfecting your craft, that shows people your work ethic, and you have proof of it, okay? This is so funny. This bar, there we go. Meet people in your career field. Networking. And when we say networking, people's like, oh, I got to find somebody who's going to help me get to my next level. That's not always the case.
Right.
When you are networking, meeting people in your career field, it's about you showing up at your best self still. Now, a lot of times, you know, we want people, this is just running my own business and teaching now and working in corporate. Like, you want people to be able to see what you have to offer.
Mhm.
And you don't do that just by asking them to help you. You do that by figuring out how you can fit in, how you can be of service to them. Um, okay, this mouse is crazy. I think this is what I was talking about earlier. I'm trying to let a student in. Peer-to-peer. We forget sometimes that our peers can be the best networking tool that we have. They could be the one that can help you solve the problem that you want somebody that's an expert to help you do. You know, they're closer to you. Peer-to-peer is so important. Having somebody that you can help that's probably starting out, you just never know who or what they can help or how you can help groom them to be better or to be the missing link that you are in your field. You just never know. So meeting people in your field and mentor and like having that that networking aspect is very, very, very important. I should have probably said networking instead of meeting people in your field, but this is a small part of a bigger series that we're going to do in humanities communications anyway. So y'all will get an invite to that when we roll it out. And the last thing here is work on special projects. How do you get the practice? Outside of just doing the classwork, working on classwork, you can actually work on projects. There are a lot of community-based projects that are for all majors. This is volunteer work, but also more serious like job type descriptions. What we had a student in communications, if Mr. Bingham's on, he'll know what I'm talking about, the Jefferson County Memorial Project, who Victoria Arrington, she did that. She worked on that. I think she also worked, her and another student worked at the museum for developing milestone at the museum. So those are actually work experiences. Find what your interest is and actually work in that. Like, you don't have to wait till you graduate to do this type of stuff. Use this time to do your research, figure out what's out there in your reach. There's a lot of stuff in your reach, especially now during this virtual time, so much stuff in your reach. So figure it out.
Let me add something right there. So I know that Mr. Bingham knows about the opportunities with Museum of Art, but last semester we took some students to do some things with the mayor of the city of Birmingham. There's different projects with different organizations, but we have so many organizations that want to meet you. And so Yoruba Marshall that's on this call is reaching out through your different chairs and departments to get you on Handshake. And Handshake is our career services portal. All the time people ask the president about recent graduates or students that they could meet. And so that's a way for us to be able to click a button and just think of it like with some of y'all on Snapchat, but for your future. Right. So if you're not on it, somebody can't say, hey, let me check out, who did I just do the cat? Brady, you know, Brady's a good guy. And then the people can say, oh, that's right, I saw Brady's profile. I'm going to go ahead and send him a message in his inbox and see if he wants to go to this event that we're doing, or if he wants to volunteer for this. So there's going to be so many opportunities to come about.
Right. And the last part about this, repeat. Keep it going. Keep it going, repeat. And now we're going to go into, putting it all together, right? So, because it was practice, perfect your craft, meet, network, work on special projects that are interest to you, and repeat. So when we say put it all together, we're basically saying this. Save your work to build a portfolio. When you do your classwork, Save those projects, save those assignments. If it's a written assignment and you had to give your opinion on something, you had to do further research, save your work. If it's a discussion board post and it was a really trendy topic and you had to give your opinion, if you had to research stuff in your field and further advance your understanding, save this work because you can repurpose this work. Save your work to build your portfolio. No matter what major you're in, save it, save it, save it. Do not disregard it. Don't just say, oh, it's on a jump drive. No, make sure you have it labeled right so you can always find it. Make sure you have it like in a folder. I use a folder system. For whatever subject it is, I'll label it, and make sure maybe you do like a little brief description. That might sound like a lot of work. Yeah, but when you're 3 years down the line and you're trying to pull together stuff to show to a possible employer or somebody who wants to hire you, it's not a lot of work. It saves your life at the end of the day. So stay organized, save your stuff, preserve your stuff. Document and showcase projects. So when we talk about document and showcasing, take pictures, videos, actually be able to describe what you did, be able to talk about what your takeaway was from it. This is also your proof that you were there, that you did it. You can actually describe exactly what it was. And that's very important as we segue into making this more social. So everything we're talking about, we're just talking about the stuff that you need to do. But when it comes down to showcasing, documenting, we are taking it online, we're taking it social, we're taking it to the virtual world, okay? So this is very, very important. And it's funny to me how I'm most likely a decade older than a lot of you guys on here right now. But it's so funny to me how phone savvy, app savvy, all this other savviness. And we don't see a lot more of you sharing your academic side. Maybe it's not, maybe you didn't think that it would be important to be able to showcase this, but it is very important. And I'm going to show you something. We're going to go deeper into it, into our workshops that we're going to start doing in humanities and communications. But I'm going to show you like what that looks like, how to curate a little bit of what you're going to be posting and how to separate your personal from your professional. What was this last thing on here? Sorry, I can't see the slide. What was the last thing? Oh, get recommendations and connections by networking. So if it's something that you're like, I think I want to start learning, let's say you're in biology. I want to learn more about, that was a bad example. I don't know too much about biology. But you want to learn something specialized in biology, right? So you can ask Dr. Woods, like, hey, are there any other resources out there that just strictly about this? Or do you know somebody who works in this field that I can probably connect with and get some questions answered? Like actually getting that information is very important. Ask for recommendations. Don't waste your time here not getting all the information you can get. Use us. We're here. We're here to teach, and we're also here to be resources for you. Don't be afraid to ask. Okay, next. Okay, best social networks. This section really details how professionals are using social media platforms now. How are they actually using their personal brand to get them further along, put them in front of companies by not sending out thousands and thousands of resumes, right? This is what we mean when we say having a digital presence. Is all about, understanding where you need to go and what you need to post where. Okay, where do you need to be? The greatest platform right now that helps connect professionals, it goes both ways too. So companies are trying to connect with you and you're trying to connect with the companies. So LinkedIn is the largest professional professional platform that we have for.
Can I chime in right here?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
how many students, you can put in the chat, how many of you are on LinkedIn right now? And when Yoruba went to a conference with the federal agencies, they didn't even ask for resumes, they asked for your LinkedIn. So that's a new thing. So you guys put that in your chat. Like how many of you guys are already on LinkedIn? Megan Owens is.
Where's chat?
Thanks, Megan. Anybody else? Thank you.
Okay. I got the chat up. I was trying to get the chat up. Okay, and I think I might have to leave this like this because I can't see.
Yeah, it's hard to flip back and forth. So this is fine. We can see it this way.
Okay. So LinkedIn is the largest networking platform for professionals. You can find companies, companies can find you. If you have put in any type of job application, they are asking you for all social medias. They are asking you for your LinkedIn, they're asking for your Twitter, your Facebook, and I haven't seen too many asks for Instagram. Depending on what industry you're going into, a lot of advertising companies, they will ask for Instagram, but because that's just a main platform that you're going to use in that field. But for sure, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. Interesting things about Facebook and Twitter. Facebook is really the only social media platform that shows up in Google search like a website. If you have a Facebook page and it's not private, people can Google you and find your Facebook page. That's why Facebook has been known for a large business standpoint for marketing your business and whatnot. Same thing. We're seeing a lot of those changes happen now with privacy. So Facebook is tweaking a lot of that. And now if you can have your own professional Facebook page and you can have your private page. Twitter is a good place to stay in touch with your industry. Before, it was about getting on somebody's emailing list, getting on a company's mailing list so you can stay in tune with what's going on, what they're doing, if they have new job postings, if they're going to be participating in a community event, whatnot. Now, Twitter is the way to do that. Miles, we use Twitter a lot at Miles to get information out to our students. So Twitter allows you to actually post your opinions, share information, because a big thing about this, it's reciprocal. It's about you giving information, you also receiving information. So how are you going to stand out? What type of stuff are you sharing? If you are in psychology, right? And there's this new study that's out and you want to say, hey, peers, look at this. This is a real cool study. What do you think about this? What are your opinions? You're getting that conversation started. You're networking. You're being sociable with people who are in your industry. Don't be afraid to use your platforms for actual stuff outside of cute stuff. Like, don't be afraid to be smart online. And then what else? Instagram is very personal. So Instagram is where you really get to show like you in the actual life of. I have a sample page that I'm going to show you guys in a moment, but okay. But yes. Let's see. What's the last one? And these are just some social media platforms that you can use. Wix, you can make your own simple little website, your picture, your bio, some projects you worked on. You can use the blog area, really good. Facebook groups, a lot of professional people hang out on Facebook. You can find a group that is of interest of you in your industry. You can be very specific about it. Engineers from HBCUs. Psychology majors from HBCUs, Black journalists. There are so many different groups and you stay in the know about what's going on and you're connecting with people. This is the LinkedIn symbol. So I'm gonna show you your LinkedIn page, Twitter, Meetup. Meetup is really cool because Meetup allows local professionals to actually come together, work on projects, discuss, be more sociable. So there are different groups. I think I found different graphic design groups. I was working on some project. No, actually, I found the project on there and I was able to participate and volunteer with them. Instagram, we all know what Instagram looks like, a handshake. So handshake, everybody on here should be a part of handshake because that's a big initiative for us. And like Dr. Ag said earlier, that's how we're gonna get a lot of those opportunities out to you. So I think I'm running out of time. So I'm gonna show you one profile that's really good. This is a colleague of mine from college. And she's actually lives in London. She's from Nigeria. She lives in London. She went to Jacksonville State in Alabama. Nima Sheshi. Her profile is really detailed in a way that you need to start thinking about how you want to be seen and what it looks like to actually document what you're doing. So Nima, and this is LinkedIn, by the way. So Nima's profile, she has her recent activities. So she's replying to different stuff. She works for actual, I think, a marketing agency, and they have different podcast episodes that they post on LinkedIn. So she's commenting on other people's stuff. Her experience has all of her different experiences on here. Y'all cannot see my screen, can y'all?
No, you're right. Mm-hmm.
I just thought about that. I did that in class the other day. Nobody said anything. I'm like, wait a minute. Y'all can't see my screen. Okay, sorry. Because I was only sharing just keynote. I wasn't sharing my whole screen. Okay, so Nima, she's now living in the UK, but we went to college in Jacksonville, Alabama together. So she has her title, what she is, service coordinator. But the best thing I like about hers is how detailed and how personable she is. So she's giving her personality through her profile, but she's also speaking to somebody like she's just having a conversation. Some people say, oh, you need to do it in third person and whatnot. Well, when you're talking about your personal brand and how you want people to see how you're going to fit in with their company or their business, you do want to have some personal stuff in there. So
I guess we are out of time, but can you do me a favor and look on LinkedIn, do Natalie Harris. That's a student I don't know if it'll even show up, but try Natalie Harris. N-A-T-A, Natalie Sparling Harris. Let's see if she shows up. There's probably going to be too many. Here it is. Do University of Alabama. See if it shows up. It might not, but no, not that one. Okay, don't worry about it. I was trying to show them one of a student so that we can see what kind of things a student should have on their LinkedIn. So maybe, don't worry about it. Go back to what you were doing. Okay. Maybe if you could help us find one of a student, that would be a good example, or any of the professors on the line. If you have a good example, or you're a good example of a student. Hey, go back up. Anthony Hood, that's a friend of mine. Click his. Oh shoot, you would have to be his friend, huh?
No, we're following each other.
Okay, do that. So he's the guru of this thing.
Yes, and the way that he shares his stuff, like he actually shares a lot of vital stuff. He starts those communications with people.
Mm-hmm. So then you would do your about, I'm a student at Miles, and somebody might be like, ooh, a student at Miles, that's great.
This is what I'm looking for in a career. These are the things that I'm interested in. You're going to make sure that they actually understand and they get to know who you are.
And you can share different articles about you or other things related to you. This could be good. Right. So I put in the chat, Jaleesa, that I'd love to see that maybe we could have the communication like a YouTube, not a YouTube, but what do you call it? Headshots for our LinkedIn, since this is another way to go. And we can help you through career services in my office. to help to put together these LinkedIn profiles. I think this could be a good thing.
And Dr. A.G., if I could add really quickly, this website, this LinkedIn page, once it's up, once it's ready for you, it's working behind the scenes and forward facing for you 24 hours a day. And you don't even have to do anything but get it together.
No,
Hey,
and this is your professional.
Megan, do you mind if we show your LinkedIn page? Is Megan okay with that? And I think it's
Oh,
MEH.
is it Megan? I'm sorry, I was looking.
MEH.
You can. It's just like started up. Like
Thank you for
I
letting
still need to build it up.
What's your name?
GAN.
Is that her? No.
Oh,
Yes, second one. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, you okay? You used to go to Xavier, or you?
Yes, I transferred from Xavier.
Okay, look how cute she is, y'all. Hey,
Thank you.
what's up? What is this? So that's her, you know, where she's worked. Thank you for letting us show that. Things that she's interested in. Show
And Dr. A.G. and Ms. Tannehill, the Division of Humanities and Communications is requiring all of our students to have a digital presence before graduation. We're going to show you guys how to build a website, how to establish yourself on LinkedIn, how to effectively use Facebook and Twitter. We will have, and we'll do that through workshop seminars, which, as I mentioned, are mandatory for the communications humanities students, but we will invite everyone to be a part of those workshop seminars.
Thank you so much. And Julissa, you can kick back host to me if you can, that'd be great. If not, we won't sweat it.
Oh no, I got you.
Thank you so much. So for the students that are on the call, can a student do me a favor and tell us one thing that you took away from this session, and one thing that you know you'll use this week? So I need a student to tell us one thing you took away and one thing you're going to use this week.
One thing I took away was building up your presence and reiterating the concept that I learned back in high school of building a portfolio. And I might start working on my portfolio this week. That's what I'm gonna do this week.
Great. What's your name?
Paul Williams.
Paul. Oh, Paul's always participating. Okay, great. Okay, let's get another. Anybody else that wants to share that? Okay, I'll put a cash app in.
I will.
Okay, go ahead.
My name's Lamont Moorhead, and what I took away from the lecture today was that you have to use your current resources to build your portfolio. It's like on my Facebook page, I have a lot of friends that have small businesses. So using the information I learned today, I'm going to start a group on Facebook and basically network with some of the business owners that's on my page.
I like it. Okay, that was a good idea. That's a good idea. How many of you are on Facebook? Can you put that in the chat for me? I know we're short on time, but we still have about 80 people that are here with us now. Are you on Facebook? You can put it in the chat if you're on Facebook. You are? Okay. And if you're on Facebook, you can follow me, the president, Academic Affairs, Miles College. Okay. There's a number of us that are on Facebook. Okay. That's good. That's what's up. So I really appreciate it. So my takeaway is I loved how you talked about networking and your peers. And there are so many people in my life that made it big that are friends of mine. And that's going to happen to each and every one of you that are on the call, especially when you surround yourself with people that are being progressive. They're going to be bosses someday, and they're going to say, hey, I need to bring Paul in on this project. Or, hey, if I come out, I need Paul to work on this with me. That's my guy. That's the way that it works. So your network is not just the people above you that may have some influence, but also your peers around you, and then even the people that you help and support. They're going to be grateful, and they're not going to forget you. Thank you so much. And Megan, we're very glad that you're here as well. So thanks.
Could I get
you're about, okay, I'm hosting.
Could I get 2 hamburgers?
Dr. A.G., I didn't hear what you said.
Okay, hold on a second. I gotta mute everybody. Yoruba, what are our topics next week? What are we doing next week? If you don't know, I don't mean to put you on
Next
the spot.
next week, I believe it's Mr. Stallworth.
Oh, that's
Our
gonna
dean
be
of
a good
student.
one. So we're gonna have our Dean of Students next week. Hey, you guys, we are going to start something on our group, on our classes. As you know, everybody on this class, I'm listed as your instructor, but each one of you have facilitators that you are gonna start to get messages from. We are gonna have 10 assignments that'll be 10 points each. That'll make up your 100 points for the class. And we'll start to post those starting next week. So you'll have them. And then Dontrell, are you still on the call? Mr. Mosley? Okay, so some of the assignments that we're gonna have, just like Jaleesa was talking about networking, one of the assignments is gonna be called Who's Your Who, which is, who is it that's helping you, that's moving you along, that's motivating you, that's in your corner. It might be a coach, it might be a faculty member, it might be somebody in your dorms, it might be the provost, or, so you're gonna tell us who's your who. Another assignment that we're going to have you guys to do, we're going to do scavenger hunts. We're going to work on your goals. We're going to help me out, Kathy or Yoruba. What am I forgetting? We're going to learn the school song, school history.
Did you say a campus quiz and a vision board?
Campus quiz, vision board, so all that stuff. So get excited about it, especially if that's your jam. And even if it's not, you'll learn to get it, because we want to know about you. We want to support you. And we are so excited that you're here as freshmen and that you've been on this call every week. If there is a freshman that is not on this call and they don't know what you're talking about when you say you have class Tuesdays at 11, please bring them next time. You know how they say a church brings somebody with you? Please bring somebody with you to freshman forum. We don't want them to miss out on this information. The student Alabama State grant, let me see if I can find it again real quick and put it in the chat. The Alabama State grant is due in to financial aid today. I don't know if you can email it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. It goes through financial aid. So I'm not sure. I don't know how I can get sure between now and then, but Miss Marshall will help us figure that out. Okay, is that okay, Miss Marshall? And she's gonna put her information in the chat and we're gonna find it out. Oh, she already put the form in the chat. You can get up to $1,200 from the state of Alabama if you're an Alabama resident and you go to Miles College. 1,200 ain't bad. So please fill that out. All you got to do is show that you have a residency here in the state of Alabama and turn that into financial aid.
Is that for students only?
Tyria is right. I didn't do the attendance for today. What'd you say?
Is that for students only?
It is, I know, right? It was students for only. Tyra, I did not do the attendance for today. Sheldra, can you find the attendance link real quick and put it in the chat? Sheldra's gonna put the attendance link in the chat for today. But what we can do now, we can just copy the chat, just put your name, but just put your name down that you attended class for today. Just put your name in the chat. Okay, the Google form is coming, so if y'all wanna wait on that, you can do that, but you also can put your name in the chat for us. So that we'll know that you attended. Remember, if there's a freshman you talk to, just bring it up in conversation that's not on these calls. We want them, we're giving you guys the hookup. So you don't want your peers to, remember I said no bear left behind? So make sure that you tell the other freshmen that this is where the good information is and we want you here. It's going to get more fun as we have our other facilitators that start to swing in and help out here. It's going to be less of me and more of them coming in the coming weeks. And I'm sure it's going to be even more enjoyable. Dr. Baptiste, Jaleesa, you guys did a great job. Jacqueline, thank you for being present in the chat as well. Megan, thank you for letting us show your LinkedIn. And we really look forward to seeing you every Tuesday. So we'll be back here on the same channel at 11 o'clock and with our Dean of Students. So thanks everyone. And I'll stay on the line if you guys have anything that you need. And then also she's gonna put the attendance in the chat in just a minute once she pulls it up. Don't let me forget, Tyra, next week, don't let me forget to do that like I just did. The form, she put the form in there, but here's the link to the form.
Gotta get ready for class.
Here's the
Thank you,
link.
Dr. Agee.
Thank you so much. Y'all have a good day. I know there's 12:30 classes coming up. Here's the link to the form for the student grant. And I will stop recording.
And Dr. Agee, Tyra Edwards, she responded to me, but I'm sure it's for you. She put, "I got you."
Oh, good. That's
regarding attendance.
Find out about where they could possibly send the form to today.
Yes, ma'am.
And I hope it's not, it's the deadline is today, but there's another deadline as well.
Dr. Agee, sidebar, at 1 o'clock, you have a meeting with Cengage, COSI and Cengage.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Agee, I'll check with financial aid and then send an announcement.
That'd be great.
Through.
You can send it, I can send it to every student on campus, but
okay.
Freshmen keep a lookout for this message. What time do they leave? 4:30. Great questions. Kelson, tell who is that in that hat, Kelson? I like your picture. Kelson Mitchell. Hi, Sydney. How you doing?
Hi, how are you?
Good. Okay, there's the attendance. The attendance is now in the Google chat, so you can click on that and do attendance if you're still here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Contact to receive our form for the grant, our application.
The form, we keep putting it in the chat. It's here in the chat.
Who do we contact to know who to send it to?
Oh, Yoruba Marshall. Yoruba, put your information in there, please.
Trey Agee, or one other.
Hey, Trey.
Bye. Have a good day.
Dr. Agee, are we good to go?
Yeah, you're good to go. Thank you. If you do the click on the attendance link, then you are good to go. Thank you guys so much.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You
That was
too.
nice. I was just letting them get these links on here. Okay, yes, that's it. Yoruba.
And I've saved the chat.
Yeah, I gotta get you another computer.
And I hope this one is fine because this is mine.
Well, it's not bad. It's just that, if you're doing it, you know what I mean, and you're doing it for the college, you should have what you need, on your desk.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because if I was trying to do it on my laptop or whatever, that'd be one thing. But yeah. Girl, I forgot what I was about to do. I think I have a meeting today. Oh, at 2:00. Scholarship committee. What am I doing? I gotta do that. What else am I doing? I had my phone in my hand for a reason. I don't remember what it was. But yeah, I thought that was good. I'm gonna kick all these other callers out.
I'll come down to your office.
Okay, sounds good. Bye, everybody. We're hanging up. Oh, look. Hey, where y'all at? Hey. Where y'all at? They hung up. What the heck? Where y'all? That was so cool. Oh. Where are y'all? Okay, here I come. Did y'all eat already? I'm starving. Okay. I'm starving. Okay, I'll go to the cab too. I'm gonna tell my son, don't bring me food. Here I come. Bye. Okay. Bye. Hey, I'm gonna eat in the cab.
Oh, I was gonna get some Sonic. Okay.
No, that's okay. Just come on and fill out this thing in my office. It's gonna be sitting here, but I got a meeting at 1, so I'm just running right back.
Where's the clothes?
Clothes are in my truck, my car. But let me tell you this. Remember we filled out that thing where we had a copy of your license? Do you have it or what? Don't worry about it. I reprinted it, but we got to turn it in today.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Wait, Mom.
Yes.
Who do I turn it into?
You gotta turn it in a financial aid, but I'll be back. And you can start filling it out. Lunch with my shoes not matching with your comfortable shoes and help train. Yeah, I felt like that should have went straight to LinkedIn. I felt like, and then the other thing is, I gotta tell these people, stop doing all of the dress code and the punitive, do better and all of that stuff. Yeah, because they get all that. We got it. So, what can you teach them? So get with Dean Stallworth about that too. So you'll know, hey, we already established protocol.
Right.
But you can say stuff.
He's on a roll now.
Yeah, no.
Here. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Trey, yeah, he's right. Let's yeah. I think I'm your professor, man. Yeah, right.
Hey, sweetheart. Mom left this for me. She said just in case you got here before she returns to lunch, it's the Alabama student program. So she said she wants you to put this.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. If you need anything, let me know. I'm in my office.
Here now.
What time is your next court date? What time?
1:35.
Okay,
So
you head back downtown then.
heading back downtown. We got an expert witness on the stand and we have 3 more hours to get this. All right, Trey. All right. food's out the door. All right. I'll be back in like 15 to 20 minutes. I'm just doing this paperwork. See. Man. Come on, listen. Right. No. Yes. Come on, listen and do what I do.
Okay. Thanks so much. Bye. You should fill that out in red pen. So you gotta fill it out. Thank you.
I'll print it up since I can get to it.
Okay, great.
Well, I'm headed back to court.
Okay, thank you. How long were you in here to talk to Trey?
Oh, maybe 15 minutes.
Were you surprised to see each other?
He walked in, I was like, that's Trey.
I'm burning up. I can't do nothing with this sweater.
Well, I just wanted to make sure my
You did good.
is okay over there.
I like how you did the I'm actually gonna give you a few more classes, so you're gonna get paid more.
Well, let me tell you this, Doc.
What?
So I just kind of try to find some of my kids,
What?
and out of 31, only 4 was in attendance today.
Yeah. What, you look for their names?
Look for their names.
Yeah, because there's 408 of them, only like 100 are coming to the Zoom.
Okay.
So that's part of freshman retention. Let's figure out what the heck is that.
Let me get
You
with
know?
Carla and Garuba and try to get their either personal contact or their personal emails. And we'll track them down.
Good, thank you.
Just meet them halfway.
Okay, that's it. That's the point. Because, where are they?
I know where Trey at.
Yeah, it look like Trey is in school. Laid off? No. A job what? No, a job. What are the other options?
That's what I'm saying. Job leader.
He was laid off. So he didn't leave his job. He's on furlough, maybe? What are the options?
Job leader, new intern, job leader. That's why I think it's a job.
That's the only option?
Yes. I think it's a job leader. I want to say job leader too.
I never had that class, so.
Thank you.
And we got to do that today.
Yeah, when in doubt, you have to
You have a blue pen?
X
Or-
all the incorrect answers.
No, give him a blue one. Yeah,
What's that called when you get rid of all the wrong-
elimination. Yeah, something like that.
All right, guys.
Yeah, Yoruba. Hey, everybody, I'm here.
All right.
Hello.
Hi.
I know I was like, do we have the wrong Zoom? What happened?
I have no clue whose Zoom link that is.
That was your Zoom. You sent it to me.
I totally hear you, but that's not ours. That's not ours at all. We use the same exact number every time. So
Isn't that bizarre?
It is very bizarre. I have no clue who that belongs to.
Very strange.
Wasn't my number.
Our Zoom link is our telephone number, 205-929.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, that makes it convenient.
Right. Yeah.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, cousin.
Hi. Hello.
Hey.
Well, thanks everybody for joining today. I brought a team of folks from Cengage here to talk about the Cengage curriculum services that we just kind of had a brief introduction to when Natalie joined our call a couple weeks ago. So why don't we start with introductions? I think that would be a great place to start. And I think I know everybody on this call, but just again, I'm Andrea Iorio, and I'm the Institutional Account Manager, and I work very closely with the Miles team on our partnership with Cengage Unlimited. And I'd like to also introduce Natalie Skadra.
Hello, I think I've met most of you on the previous call. I lead the Learning Center of Excellence at Cengage, and that includes our curriculum services group, as well as accessibility and our quality learning principles of inclusivity and authenticity, personalization, and intentionality.
Thank you, Natalie. Lois, can you also introduce yourself?
Hi there, I'm Lois Harrison and I work on Natalie's team. I manage a team of project managers and educational technologists. So when we work with our customers in curriculum services, those are the roles that I work directly with.
And Erin?
Hi there, my name is Erin Dopke and I work on Natalie's team as well. I manage the instructional designers and our copy editor. And so as they work on projects, I support them as well.
Thank you, Erin.
Sure.
Dr. Agee, should we have everybody on the Miles team also introduce themselves quickly so everybody understands their roles?
Yes, and I'll be back just 1 second. Yes.
Sure, sure.
So Kosi, since you're our closest to the Cengage group, will you start introducing with your introduction?
Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Kosi Apedo. I'm instructor of accounting and also the Cengage e-learning liaison with Miles and Cengage. So I'm a gun on the shoulder. Whatever I'm pointing at, that's what I shoot.
Okay.
And Dr., we're fortunate and blessed to have Dr. Dadabo as well.
Hello, everyone. I'm Antonia Dadavo. I'm Dean for Quality Enhancement. And I usually work with faculty professional development now, just setting up, you all know that. Trying to make sure we don't have conflicts and to know exactly what it is faculty may need to be trained on with the help of Mr. Kosi Apedo.
And I'm not on mute. I'm Jacqueline Gray Miller. I'm a professor, and also I am the Academic Affairs Communications Director.
Geraldine Agee, the provost at Miles College. And I'm eating lunch, so I'm trying to scarf down some in between meetings. So that's
understood.
Totally understand that. Yeah.
And may I just add that she's a woman in 3 places at one time, because she was literally just at my office door. I mean, literally.
And eating lunch and at a meeting and
right.
Understood. All right.
I think Ryan is the only person we haven't met. Ryan?
Let's see. Ryan doesn't have a microphone.
Ah, okay. Well, maybe in the chat we can get a quick introduction of Ryan's role. So just to kind of get started here, during our last conversation, one of the things that we were discussing that Dr. Agee brought up that was very important to Miles College is just finding ways to really enhance the student experience and make sure that from an educational opportunity perspective that all students were getting access to quality learning materials that were engaging, that were consistent, that were had the opportunity to see that the assessments were something that we could monitor and track and provide feedback on. And when some of those topics came up, and she brought up the fact that you guys had recently gotten some stimulus money to work on some enhancements to the student experience with technology and online supplements, we started talking about what we could do from a Cengage perspective to help with that effort. So Natalie's team is the team that leads the whole curriculum services side of things at Cengage. And I asked them to attend today so that they could kind of give you an overview of all of the things that we could do. But before we get started, I think it would be helpful to just kind of recap from your perspective, what's really important to you as you explore how you plan to use this money? What does that even mean, use this money? What are the things that you're really looking to make sure that you find as far as value for the students?
So for me, well, basically we want to stay in compliance with what the funds are intended for. And the funds are intended to help schools like Miles College to remain competitive and to support our students in this in this COVID era. And so that means that we know we had to transition our instruction from on ground to online. So that was the emergency first stop that we did March 18th of last year. We moved close to 800 classes from on ground to online within 14 days out of necessity. And the large number of our faculty had never taught online before, even though we'd done some rudimentary, connections around Blackboard and some around Cengage. So I want to say this first. I really want to acknowledge Kosi and Dr. Dadabo. So what they've done is they put together great trainings and great opportunities for for faculty to learn more about Cengage and learn more about Blackboard, our LMS system. But what we don't have is a real-time lab where people can actually roll down their sleeves and have somebody show them how to do it. And more than that, we have different levels of tech savvy faculty members, from somebody like me who taught my first online class 21 years ago, who was actually the first person to do a online class for my division back then, to somebody who's not only never done an online class, but doesn't even probably have a Facebook page or doesn't know how to upload assignments, let alone attach their Cengage ebook. Even if Kosi was to, you guys were to attach the book for them, then there's just so many ways that they're missing out on the materials that could be part of that. It's my son. And so, he's going to get stuff out of my car. And so we, so where Dr. Dadabo and Kosi have, put together these trainings for faculty, the ones that are good got great in doing this work, and the ones that were not so good, or this was new to them, they got help from their peers, which put a lot of stress on the other faculty who was juggling their classes plus their peers' classes, which worked for spring 2020. We're doing it in fall 2020. But what I'd like to do is remove some of that for our faculty. I've taught at other colleges. I've taught at UC Berkeley, at Peralta Community College, Cal State Fresno, and UAB here in the city. And at UAB, they have a whole center for technology and learning for faculty. And even when I was at Berkeley, I was in the faculty technology super user group. Before that, I was on the early adopter group, and I would get paid, listen to this, $1,500 extra a semester to learn about new technology, let alone, the way it is now. It's like, hey, do this new technology as part of your job. No, I was incentivized to sit there and learn something new. And even though, you know, at that time I sat on a committee, no joke, the committee was to discuss whether or not we should allow Wi-Fi in the classrooms at Berkeley. So that's 20 years, that's how long ago that was, if that was in a conversation about should we do it or not. So all that to say, what I'd like to do is for my faculty across the board, those tech super users, let's say that I might be one of those, and then those who that are novices, that our course shells are already set up. If there's a way to have these things set up in a way that that now they're focusing more on instruction or enhancing what they're doing. They're not doing the technical part of putting up the color scheme and putting up the graphics and determining what should be the template, all of that, this instructional design. We're having our faculty to do that as well. And I just think it's over for that. For me, I'd like to see our campus to have that uniformity. And so when you guys talked about custom design, that would be helpful. And the way that we could put it into the funds that we have now is to say, this actually helps us to be, to better serve our students. And it makes it easier for our students to be able to access their materials and then not drop out.
Yeah.
So that's the long version of the story.
No, absolutely. The student user experience in navigating a course has a direct relationship to their success. If they have to spend time figuring out every single course, where to go, what to do, and if it's 5 different ways for 5 different courses, they're going to get frustrated. So, as you know. Well, that's great. So I have given Lois, so Lois and Aaron work together to help identify a solution that works. And I've given them a little bit of a background based on our previous conversation. So I appreciate a little more detail here. We did talk about the template as being a possibility for a service. Certainly we can run the gamut, but we want to meet like your actual goals and what you think is going to be useful. Obviously, Kosi and Dr. Adevo have already developed training that is obviously very useful for faculty. So that's something that we could build on also in terms of leveraging what's there, plugging into that, the template creation, and anything else that might go into, well, how do you use Cengage in this template? What else can you do in Blackboard? So we'd obviously want to see what you have and see where you might find it useful. But to that, I want to kind of turn it over to Aaron and Lois and to ask, they always have a ton of questions. And I know they are just chomping at the bit to kind of ask. So I'll turn it over to Erin first, because she does lead our instructional design team. We have a number of instructional designers. We also have, I think I mentioned this on our previous call, educational technologists who are specialists in the Cengage product and platform and that connection to the LMS and Blackboard. So they're expert in that. And Lois, along with her project manager, she runs the ed tech team. So together we fit a little puzzle pieces that provide our complete services. So Erin?
Sure. So you mentioned that most of your instructors, that they build their own courses. Are all of your courses online, or are they hybrid, or what's the?
They're hybrid, but they all have a Blackboard presence.
Gotcha. Okay, so you use Blackboard for assessment, I assume, and to store assets and things like that,
Yes.
No matter what.
And then we use it, we're half and half for like Blackboard Collaborate and using Zoom, but then also posting announcements.
Excellent. Okay. And so are students actually coming to courses right now, like physically?
Our attendance is down, so I would say. But Jacqueline, go ahead. What were you about to say?
I was just going to give an example of my Tuesday, Thursday class. It is Intro to Public Relations. And I actually am physically in the class. And then I have the Blackboard Ultra going as well. So for students, because we understand that COVID is a disruption and something we've never had before, I make it an option for them to physically be in front of me or they're on Blackboard. It's also an 8 a.m. class. So my point
That's a factor.
That's helpful.
Yeah, they have that
I'm sure they're very thankful for that.
yes, yes. And so I'll say that to say as well, as I'm talking to my colleagues, that's what we've started to do to answer your question. We're doing that so we can give them some leeway as well, because sometimes you just don't feel like it. Dr. A.G., close your ears. So sometimes
fine with it.
Okay. So again, we're teaching in class, we're on ground. However, we also give them that option of being there via Blackboard. So it's happening both ways. And what I've gotten is a 50-50 split.
Got